Well, good evening and welcome to another exciting episode of Love Not Fear. We're really blessed tonight to have Chrissy with us again. And she's going to be telling us all about microgreens and how to grow them. The health benefits of microgreens. I've just made a few notes here to get started. I won't be waffling on for too long.
Hey.
Watch it, you. Sprouts and microgreens offer much better nutritional value than land-based fruits and vegetables. If you compare the sprout with any dry seed or a sprout with any fully grown counterpart, a lot of the time the sprouts will have more vitamins, more minerals, more proteins, and more essential fatty acids. So why is that? Sprouting essentially kicks the seeds into life and jumpstarts their metabolic activity. So these little seeds are packed with all the nutrients that they're going to need to grow up to big plants. Enzymes in the seed are rapidly converting all their concentrated nutrients into complex materials to help them grow into mature plants. Sprouts and microgreens, which Chrissy tells me, the sprouts are the little ones you grow in jars, and microgreens are the big ones you grow in trays. So, sprouts are also the best enzyme-rich foods, and these enzymes essentially pre-digest complex nutritional structures and easily assimilate, to make them easily assimilated into your body. So, for example, carbohydrates will become simple sugars, complex proteins will become easily digestible amino acids. So let's look at some of the data. Now, I nicked these figures from the United States Department of Agriculture, from their nutrient database. So dry lentils, for instance, the amount of vitamin C content is quite low. But if you sprout the lentils, they're one of the better sources of vitamin C. Sprouted lentils have nearly 4 times more vitamin C than raw lentils by weight. Sprouted mung beans have nearly 4 times the vitamin K than raw mung beans by weight. 2 cups of mung beans are equal to 1 cup of sprouted mung beans in terms of vitamin K. Those sprouted mung beans are also close to 3 times more concentrated in vitamin C by weight than raw mung beans. If you boil mung beans, they hardly have any vitamin C left. We lose an awful lot of the nutrients when we cook food. The whole point of microgreens is you can eat them raw. However, some sprouts should be cooked because otherwise they're too difficult to digest. These include black beans, pinto beans, and brown rice. So let's compare a sprout to its mature counterpart. Let's have a look at radishes. How many cups of full-grown radishes would you need to eat to get equal nutrition to a cup of radish sprouts? That's a good question. But it's also a trick question because it all depends on the nutrients that you're trying to get the equivalent of. So for vitamin K, you need to eat 19 cups of mature raw radishes to equal 1 cup of radish sprouts. And no one's going to eat 19 cups of mature radishes. So these sprouts and microgreens are very powerful. So all these numbers are just in terms of volume. If you look in terms of weight, 100 grams of sprouted radishes have 4.5 times more magnesium than raw mature radishes. They have 56 times more vitamin A. They are 45 times more concentrated in monounsaturated fatty acids, and they're 6 times more concentrated in phosphorus. So compared to their mature counterparts, radish sprouts are jam-packed with nutrients. Radishes are also consumed for their anti-cancer properties because they contain sulforaphane. It's a nutrient that has anti-cancer properties, anti-diabetic, and antimicrobial properties. Sulforaphane is linked to decreased mortality in cases of bladder, lung, prostate, and breast cancer. Broccoli sprouts, in particular, are the #1 best source of sulforaphane. Sulforaphane has been shown to prevent cancer in mice that were exposed to carcinogens and to slow the progression of cancer in humans. One interesting clinical trial in 2011 found that eating broccoli sprouts, which are the highest natural source of sulforaphane, improved the behavior of people with autism. Broccoli sprouts contain up to 100 times more of the sulforaphane precursor, glucoraphanes, than mature broccoli. And they're 20 to 50 times more concentrated in sulforaphane than fully grown broccoli. I'll put a link to some videos by Dr. Rhonda Patrick down in the show notes. She's looked into this in great detail. Light, I expect Christian will say more about this in a minute, but light can affect the nutritional property of microgreens. Microgreens grown in natural sunlight have more chlorophyll in them, and depending on the richness of the soil or the medium in which they're grown, potentially more nutritious than sprouts. One of the most powerful microgreens is red cabbage. Red cabbage microgreens have 6 times more vitamin C and 40 times more vitamin E than mature plants. These baby plants are absolutely packed with much, much more nutrients than their mature counterparts. Wheatgrass is another good one to grow. It's abundant in chlorophyll, and many health practitioners claim that it contains every amino acid, vitamin, and mineral necessary for human nutrition. So in terms of vitamin C, the highest concentration is found in red cabbage, which is a true superfood. Microgreen nutrition is also affected by the way you harvest them and how long it takes them to reach your plate. This is something that Andrew was saying just before we went live. So you don't want to cut your microgreens and let them sit for hours before consuming them, or they'll lose a lot of their nutritional value. Now, Chris is going to tell you how she grows these wonderful little plants.
Well, you just said the bad news is, Jack, like you said all the stuff that I was going to say, so I'm out of a job now, aren't I? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Right, I just want to get some bad news out of the way for normal gardeners who grow their own stuff in the garden. I've got to get this out of the way. It's really bad news. Because I've invented a new way of growing your own stuff in the garden. That's so much easier and with no work involved. And it's called the no-dig CBA method, right? And what you do, and stop smiling, Jack, stop smiling.
I never stop smiling, Chrissy. You always make me smile.
Yeah, that job done, job done. So what you do, you get your beetroot, your kitchen scraps, your beetroots, your chard and stuff like that. And you go in the garden. The garden's at the back of me now. You don't go looking at the front and throw it. You turn around and you just wing it like that. And 4 weeks later, you've got something to eat. So why do all that digging and all that hard work when you can just go? The CBA stands for can't be arsed, because I can't be arsed with all that lot. You know.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's
really beautiful.
That's going to upset people with allotments, isn't it? And who grow their own stuff. I'm sorry about that. I thought I'd just get that out the way before we begin the show, you know. So, right, I'm going to make a start now and just show what I've grown up to now. I am on an inclined bed, so if this computer falls off, just take notice, right? So, because it's on the incline.
For inclined bed therapy, refer to last week's show.
Yeah, that's it. Last week's show. Right, this is broccoli here. That's broccoli. Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That grows so fast, and like you say, that lady called Ruth, she's got some fantastic videos on broccoli about the sulforain in it, which I can pronounce, by the way, Jack. I learned that today, how to pronounce it, and so and that just grows so quick and easy. This is one of the easiest sprouts to grow, and this is I haven't got any growing, but this is from the fridge. This is I can't think of the name. You mentioned it. Lentils. This is lentils, and this grows really easy as well. Got flour on that.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
There's all that there for that. I'll just think everything on the other side now. Then, I think that I'm not going to be clever and call this a name like mustard or broccoli. To be honest with you, I haven't got a clue, so I'm just going to be honest about it. This is perhaps mustard or alfalfa or broccoli. And, and normally you water it from the top, but when it starts showing roots underneath, there's roots underneath.
Yeah.
You try to water from the bottom normally, once the roots come through. Because it has grown a bit, well, I'll leave this another night, and then I'm going to put a cover on it just to put some heat into it, some warmth, you know. Then after that, it's normally not quite green, and then I put it by the sun, not too strong a sun, and then that gives it the green stuff.
The chlorophyll, yeah. So what growing medium are you using, Chrissy?
Well, that's a bone of contention. There's all sorts of things that you can use. I'm going to go onto coconut coir. I can't pronounce that, perhaps, but
coconut matting, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. But I do use soil, but you don't use normal garden soil because it's just not right. I think you can use some sort of potting mix that's organic, special type. But I'm going to go on to that coconut stuff because that seems to be a bit easier as long as you don't wet it too much. But you can use hemp mats. And on this program called the microwave program on the YouTube called On the Grow, and the links will be below, that they cover everything about it, all the different ways that they try it, because you can try kitchen paper, but I just think there's chemicals in kitchen paper, so I don't personally use that. It's very easy.
That's a good point, isn't it?
Because I haven't found any yet that's got no chemicals in it, you know, so I don't use that, but some people do, you know. There's also, and then what else? Hasn't done very well. I don't know if you can see that. There's only five things going from that.
What went wrong there?
I think I watered it too much. There's there's 10 of them. There should be like hundreds there, but all there is about 10. So I slipped up there with a bit too much moistness. I don't think the soil's the perfect one because it was a bit moist.
Yeah, it's important not to overwater it, isn't it? Or they rot. That's
very important. But this is another one. Yeah, this is a different one. I don't know what that is, but that's a different one. That's grown a bit more. That could be mustard or whatever.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
And that's yeah. And then I think that's alfalfa.
Your voice is going funny, Chrissy.
Okay. So that's could be for that's growing really nice. It's the most interesting thing is they all feel different when you do that. They all feel nice in a different sort of way. And some of them like the sunflower ones, when you do that,
Why we keep losing your voice? I'm not quite sure why we're losing your voice.
you've been trying that for years, haven't you?
I'm wondering whether it's when you display something in front of you that it cuts it out from the microphone. Like if I put my hand in front of the microphone, it probably isn't as good.
I'll try then. This is lentils going really well.
No, I can't hear you, Chrissy. We lost you completely now.
I've lost myself. What are you on about?
Come closer to the microphone and I will reveal all.
Where's the microphone? I don't want to get all soil down my computer. Here's a fantastic one. It's sunflower. Look at that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That is amazing. Oops. That's really grown well. But what I can do with this sunflower, right? I don't have to just eat this sunflower. What I've done with it is I've put some into pots to grow as a proper sunflower, and I have grown from one little thing like that.
Yeah.
One of those, I've grown a big, massive sunflower. And with sunflowers, there's very interesting videos on YouTube about sunflowers. And this is obviously the eating variety for humans. It's not the bird type. And what you can do with the sunflower is eat the yellow leaves, and the stem, if it's a big fat stem, you cut it open and make flour out of it.
Oh, I didn't know that. That sounds brilliant. Yeah.
Check out, there is a video on that explains it better than me. I don't want to poison anybody, just not yet, not till I've done all my shows. I don't want to poison anybody yet. And then there's a lovely one called Amaris. Amaris.
Well, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Oh my giddy auntie, you have to be so gentle with that and not overwater it, and it comes up red, beautiful. But this isn't it. This is broccoli. I've got an egg box. You can grow them in egg boxes. You can grow them in egg boxes. They grow quite well, but you don't let the egg box get too wet.
Yeah, you grew me some in an egg box, didn't you, Chrissy?
Yeah, this is the Amaris one, but that hasn't grown yet. But you've got it's just that's the Amaris, but you've got to be very gentle with the water with that because it'll drown very easily. It all sounds rather complicated at first with this and that and this and that, but it's not as difficult as it seems. It's just the way I explain it. This is the broccoli that I've already cut some from, and I'm waiting till I want some more before I cut any more. But I found that some regrowing at the other end. Got that there, and that up there is regrowing. Some you can regrow, but not many of them. That's what's that grass you said earlier? That grass,
wheatgrass.
Wheatgrass. That you don't have to put a top on it. You don't have to keep it dark. It just grows, but you're very gentle with the water. You know.
So maybe we should go back a little bit and just explain that until they've germinated, they need to be kept in the dark.
A lot of them, most of them do need to be kept in the dark, and a lot of them need weights on them. A lot of them need weights on them, like like a brick. Just put a brick on them.
Okay, yeah. Where does the brick go?
On top of that, that's empty. That goes on top. And then when it's, because they're getting strong, because they've got to lift the brick up. They want to lift the brick up because they're going towards this. They want to grow, and the harder it is, the stronger they grow.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Here's an idea for some people. Just want to do this in jars, and they're quite nice when they've been done in jars, you know, because they're quite compact and small and close together. But what I've got one in a jar with a jacket on to keep it dark. Look at that.
Okay. Yeah. That's good.
Keep trying to get that. It might spin off in a minute. Hang on. Watch out. So this is this now.
Yeah.
That's Nigella, but I think it's old seeds and it's not done so well.
You've got racks, haven't you, to keep the jars so they drain?
Oh yeah. Got that where you put the jar on that and it just drips out the water.
Do you want to show us that? Do you want to put the jar on it and
Yeah,
so we can see how that works?
I've got broccoli in this one and it just goes like that.
Okay, yeah.
It's got to be tipped up to drain the water, because if it's soaking in water, it's going to go a bit not very good.
Go manky.
Now then, here's a nice little container. I've got a little container.
We're losing your voice again, Chrissy.
Okay, I've got this little container here, and it's an unusual shape. It's not square or round or anything, but it's got a top to it, which is that, and that's the shape. So, and the easiest thing to grow actually is the pea. You got to get the right peas, right? The ones for sprouting. They are so easy. I can put them in this with no soil. With no soil. I can put them in the other green containers with no soil if I can't be bothered, and they still grow. You know, it's just so easy.
We ought to just say at this point that it's important always to buy seeds that are especially for sprouting.
Absolutely.
Because seeds are designed to go in the garden unless you get organic or you grow your own, unless you save your own seed. Very often they're coated to stop the seed rotting in the ground, and you're going to be eating the seed if they're sprouted or microgreens. So you don't want to be eating those. So you want to get seeds that are specially sold as microgreen seeds.
Yeah, there'll be a couple of links below where to get your seeds from.
Yeah, there will be, yeah.
Thought I'd let you know, Jack.
Thanks for letting the people know.
Welcome to my show. I mean, Jack and Annie's show.
It's your show tonight, Chrissy.
Okay, that's all right then. Should we have a party and get pissed? Oh, get drunk. Right.
Oh, you are gorgeous.
You can use anything, almost anything really. You can use these things, what you get from the supermarket.
Yeah.
And what you can use as well is 2 plastic cups, but put something underneath in between, like a little top to a bottle, a milk bottle, and then just grow it like that.
Oh yeah.
Have a hole in the top one, have a couple of holes in that one, no holes in that one, and then you can grow little ones like that. And what you get your mushrooms in from the supermarket, you can grow in that as well. There's so many things you can use. You don't have to go mad and go out and buy all sorts of stuff. Not unless I'm an affiliate.
But that's the marvelous thing, isn't it? You don't need a garden. You don't need to spend a lot of money on expensive equipment. Anyone can grow this stuff. Anyone who's got just a windowsill or a little bit of space, you know, a little bit of racking, you can grow this stuff.
There is no excuses not to grow this. And with that tray, these trays, you've got that, is just when they start to grow a little bit, you put this dome on it, put a dome on it just for a day and a half. And then after that, you just leave them open.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The easiest ones to grow are sunflower, that's very easy, and radish, broccoli, and cress, and peas,
Right.
and different ways of growing each of those. And yes, I've said all this without looking at my notes. Yeah, it is very interesting about the sulforain, and that, like I say, that Ruth lady, she covers it massively, and it blows your mind what she tells you. And if you freeze the broccoli sprouts, if you freeze them, they are even more nutritious with the sulforain when they're frozen. Like, I don't normally freeze my sprouts normally, but the broccoli one, you freeze them, you've got much more sulforain in that.
You're talking about Dr. Rhonda.
Oh, not Ruth,
Patrick.
not Ruth. Yeah, she's on Found My Fitness. Rhonda Patrick.
Yeah.
She's so clued up. She's well worth watching for sure.
Oh, she's brilliant. Yeah, she knows her stuff.
And it's, you know, when you versus that broccoli to the normal broccoli you buy in the shops, you can't compare the nutrition like you've been saying, Jack. You know, but normally the bigger seeds need to be soaked, and the very small seeds don't normally need to be soaked.
Okay.
There is groups on Facebook that do help you with beginners, to you know, starting off, and any questions in the group you can just put in there if you're not sure. If you can't be bothered to watch a YouTube video about it, you know.
Are you in any of those groups, Chrissy?
I am, yes.
Can you send me some links? I'll put them in the
Yes.
show notes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's yeah, I've said that as well. I've said what's on my notes without looking at them.
That's brilliant.
But the wheatgrass, you need to have a good machine to chop the wheatgrass up. But the wheatgrass, I think you can freeze it in a special thing, so you can have some each day. But you need a very strong blender or juicer for the wheatgrass. But the vitamins in that, it'll blow your mind. But I'm most pleased with this sunflower. That is amazing.
That looks really, really lush, doesn't it?
But what I'm doing, I've let it grow a bit more because I want to give a load of samples, you know. I want to give a load of samples in little pots, what I've just shown, so I can give people a sunflower, you know. And they might be able to grow 5 sunflowers out of the few I've done. So I've grown them bigger, so they're going to get bigger sunflowers, you know.
That's wonderful.
So, oh yeah, some people use this type of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a YouTube video like that. And there's all these little yogurt pots that you can keep, you know, just little yogurt pots.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you get the mushrooms in, you know. You can use 2 of those. And I've also got something. I bought these at a car boot sale or something. And I put holes in one. I put holes in one. So I put holes in one and no holes in the one underneath, so it catches the water. And then
we're losing your voice again, Chrissy.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody got any questions? Well, anybody, Andrew.
No, I think this is remarkable stuff. As usual, this show, the reason why I'm here every week I can get is for the information which I probably knew a little bit about, but it gives it a lot more depth. And you obviously know your stuff to be talking about. You've done the research. You've actually showed us tonight, Chrissy. It's just amazing. Looking at not here's one I prepared earlier, but here's one I grew earlier. It's just remarkable to see this. I suppose my question's about how do you know how much of each thing to eat? Because you don't want to get too many nutrients inside you, do you?
Oh, we can't. Our bodies won't be able to cope with that. I think you just eat what you feel like, really. I think you just eat enough, and when you've had enough, you just think, well, I won't have any more of that. I mean, it's not chocolate, but you know, you got to eat something different from chocolate, haven't you? Like,
now if you could microgreen carob, wouldn't that be wonderful?
I've made my own chocolate with carob. I've made my own carob chocolate, but guess what? You go to a place where people are socializing, where somebody brings a bit of cake with all the chemicals in, and they hand it to people and they gobble it up. I went with my 3 healthy items in a bar of chocolate. One was carob, one was coconut oil, and the other one was something else, very healthy, healthy sugar. And when I offered this round as a healthy thing against chocolate, they were like backing right off. They're going, no, what's in it? What's in it? Oh no, they're going like that, crazy. And I thought, don't be scared, unless my cooking has got a bad reputation, I don't know.
Your cooking is wonderful, Chrissy. I'm really looking forward to another one of your stews when I get back.
Yeah, if I don't eat it all, because it's so nice, you know.
And Chrissy makes the most wonderful ice cream too, don't you?
Homemade ice cream, that's for another week. That's brilliant, that is. I'm 66, retired, and I'm learning these crazy things. I'm always late for everything, but better late than never.
I thought you were 21.
Eh?
I thought you were 21.
21. Oh.
21. Oh, that's brilliant, Chrissy. Thank you all for that wonderful information. I'm definitely going to start at making some, growing some microgreens when I get back.
Well, I'll give you the recipe, because men don't do much cooking and that, do they? So I'll give you the recipe. one container, a bit of soil, and some seeds. I'll give you some seeds to try out. Don't buy any seeds. You can try I'll give you some seeds to try out.
Thanks, Chrissy. The wonderful thing about microgreens, of course, as we said earlier, is that you can eat them raw. Now, most of them you can eat raw. So you've got the advantage of microgreens plus the advantage of raw food. So it's really, really nutrient-packed food.
And it's live. It's live and no preservatives, no pesticides, no nothing.
Yeah, and it's live food. You can actually feel the life in it. It's not come out of a bit of plastic wrapping from the supermarket. And you can cut it and eat it, you know, straight away. Either blend it or put it in a salad or whatever you want to do with it, or just eat it. Well, thank you so much. Sorry.
I was going to say, it's about 30 years ago now, so I don't know whether he's still into this, but Tony Robbins, I bought some powdered greens from him. And I know in his, you know, why you should buy this in these containers, he was saying that everything has energy, everything resonates at a number of ohms, OHMS, not on His Majesty's service now, ohms. it resonates at a certain level. And if you think about meat, because I know some people do eat meat, some people are vegetarian, some are vegan, but if you eat meat, guess how much life meat's got in it? 0, because it's dead. You know, that's the very nature of going to the butcher. You don't buy a live animal and chew on the live animal. You've got to wait till it's dead. And he was saying these microgreens that were in powdered form had something like 97 times the value of not of meat. It couldn't have been meat, it could have been something else that you knew that had a little bit of life in it. They're concentrated he was telling me, you know, in his sales material, and I thought, I've got to have some of them, But it was, you had to dilute it with water, and it left a horrible taste in your mouth. And it was a bit, I didn't have a blender, so I was just stirring it, and all this stuff was floating to the top. And so in the end, I think I got through about 2 containers of it, and I bought loads. So I do know the properties of the amount of energy. I think, no, it wasn't, was it? It was like 360 times. It was like a huge amount of life that you, why not put life into your body? And this is what Chrissy's doing, but she knows it's not something she's bought like I did from America in powdered form. She's growing it there in her own bedroom, I think, if you're doing it there with your slope bed. It's just took that reference back to last week's show again. But you're actually, you can see it. You can see each day how it's progressing, and then you can just grab some and eat it. And like you say, you don't need to cook it. You can eat it straight from the plant. So fascinating stuff. Thank you very much, Chrissy.
You're very welcome. It's actually done me a favour, because I have to push myself to do a lot of stuff, even microgreens. And because I was doing this show, I had to really push it, which I desperately needed pushing with, because now I'm on it, I'm staying on it. But I get trouble getting started with things, but this has forced the issue, which I'm very grateful for. So thank you as well, Jack and Andrew.
Well, thank you, Chrissy. I'm definitely going to be trying this stuff if I can get a body like Tony Robbins. Or is that not guaranteed? Right, Andrew, you kindly promised us to end the show with 1 or 2 of your poems.
So that'll help. So what I did, I was asked for 1, and I'm being greedy. I'm going for 2. And I wanted just to,
Andrew.
I'm going to share with you a poem that I wrote in the early hours of today. And the way this has come about, you're always, when you are an artist, I suppose, depends what kind of an artist you want to be. You could go down the pub, and become that kind of an artist, But
not going into that.
You're looking for inspiration, if you're a painter, if you're writing a song, you need something to just trigger you off and give you subject matter. So I decided a little while ago to go to it's A Course in Miracles, and it's a book that's got a fair bit of text in it, which is like spiritual teaching, and then they have a section where they give you lessons. Each day. I will put the link. I will put the link to the Course in Miracles, and there's 300.
And also the link to Andrew's fantastic book about love.
Oh, thank you very much. So 365 lessons. I'm on number 33. So it's asking me to do exercises, not physical ones. Don't worry about that. But little exercises where you have to consider certain things. It's like a mental arithmetic thing, but it's asking you to do something with your mind that you maybe didn't do before. And 33 of these in, I write a poem for each one. And it isn't necessarily teaching the Course in Miracles. It's just what's going off in my thoughts around the time that I'm reading the lesson. So this is the 33rd day. And there is a 3rd section where it's like telling you how to become a teacher of A Course in Miracles. So I've got the big book, and there's lots of stuff online. Lots of people do memes from it and so on. So I'm reading to you a poem that I wrote today called There's Always Another Way, which was inspired by the 33rd day, training day for Course in Miracles. Okay. So it starts like this. Our lives are what our thoughts make of it. We are what we think. All we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. The power that we have through thought is to change our world. We can choose to think different thoughts. There's always another way of being. This process starts right here, right now. We can see things differently. First, we need to ask, what are the alternatives? And why do I normally walk down this present path? Maybe it's time to shift our perceptions, to remake our world differently, to start an adventure of discovery, to use our faculties to the full. Questioning rather than accepting what is gives us a real choice. Do we dismiss courage in favor of an easy life? Are we wise, or do we, without a fight, just give up? There's always a different or better way, but will we choose it? Are we set in our view of the world now? Have we given up exploring life's possibilities? A quiet and settled life may be a life of illusion. What is the capacity of reason for? Why do we abandon our power, our potential, and determine by default to go this present way? Very thought-provoking. You probably need to hear what I've said a few times. You know, take back the video on YouTube and play it back a few times. It really blew my mind away. It's saying there's always the exercises, there's always another way to see things. And we don't, it's a bit like there's the, they say that we have something like, is it 20,000 thoughts a day? But they're usually the same ones that we had yesterday and the day before and the day before that. Can you share some light on that, Jack?
Not the actual figures, no, but
No.
It reminds me of Joe Dispenza's idea of break the habit of being you.
Yeah. And who are you anyway?
Absolutely.
Are you the result of all the interactions that you've had with everyone else, the things you've been told by people that you trust, or are you the result of the thoughts, the empirical thoughts that you've come up with by yourself? Are you being lazy about your life, or are you testing things? Are you making sure that what you're being told is correct? Do you do your own due diligence, as they say in the business world?
Well, you can be taken on many different levels, can't it?
Yeah.
There's the conscious mind, there's the higher self. Which you are we talking about?
So yeah, it's a big subject matter, but I just thought I'd throw it out today because I've written it today. And then the second point that I'd like to share with you is it's based on, let me just show you this book.
Yeah, Wayne Dyer, yeah.
And this is a book that he wrote. He spent a full year to write this book, and it's 4.5 days on each verse of the Tao Te Ching. So he's written a little essay. It's quite a big book. He's written an essay on each of the 81 verses of the Tao Te Ching. And again, a while ago, I was looking for inspiration, and I thought, well, if Wayne wrote an essay, maybe I could write a poem. And this is where the idea for doing what I'm doing with the Course in Miracles came from. I just looked at the verse in the Tao Te Ching, and then I wrote, maybe I should read what the Tao Te Ching says before I read you the poem, because then maybe you'll understand the difference between what I write and what the book actually says. In the same way, if you look at the Course in Miracles, you'll find that I'm not actually saying what the Course is saying, I'm saying my own thoughts. So this is the 5th verse of the Tao Te Ching. Heaven and earth are impartial. They see 10,000 things as straw dogs. The sage is not sentimental. He treats all people as straw dogs. The sage is like heaven and earth. To him, none are especially dear, nor is there anyone he disfavors. He gives and gives without condition, offering his treasures to everyone. Between heaven and earth is a space like a bellows, empty and inexhaustible. The more it is used, the more it produces. Hold on to the center. Man was made to sit quietly and find the truth within. So that is the 5th verse of the Tao Te Ching, and then it's followed by Wayne Dyer's essay. Took him 4.5 days to write the essay on that, and then he moves on to verse 6. So this is my poem, which was based on the 5th verse of the Tao Te Ching, and I shall bring it across here. And I've called the poem The Indivisible Invisible, and it is from my new forthcoming book, Inspirations from the Tao. So verse 5, this is my poem, The Indivisible Invisible. The sun shines on the righteous and on the wicked too. Provision does not discriminate in the way of me and you. Breath is given to the good, but evil men can breathe. So will you side with the duality, or in the oneness will you find peace? Let not judgment of those different to you make you feel sad. Instead, accept we are all individuals and be glad. The one who's passed a journey you would never take has the right to be themselves, though you say it's a mistake. Find harmony and peace, relax and allow all that is. Try to understand. If you can't, then enter bliss. Remember that one day the mountains will be lost into the sea, and the crooked places will be straightened, and we will all be free. Your view of life has the same value as anyone that you meet. So don't sound the alarm. You won't need to retreat, and you won't need to retreat. Ask for guidance, be fair-minded, lose the need to create waves, and then the 10,000 things won't trouble you as you give them space.
Very profound.
Well, it is, isn't it? And I'm on to a winner, I think, with this idea, because the Tao Te Ching is some of the best wisdom. I'm reading through it when I decided to take on the project, and I'm thinking, did Jesus read the Tao Te Ching? Because I know my Bible, I went to Bible school, and it seems like a lot of the wisdom that Jesus shares. I'm really sorry if I'm wrong, Jesus, but I think you're cheating. I think you've cribbed. I think you've found your wisdom elsewhere. So why not? You know, why not base what you have to say on some great teaching that, you know, even if you don't get anything out that's worth listening to, that you'll be passing some of that wisdom on anyway.
Well, what do you think he did during all the lost years? He went around the world, didn't he, learning from the masters?
There's lots of stuff. He's been in India, he's been in and did those feet in ancient time walk upon England's mountains green. I was reading about Joseph of Arimathea, because as you may know, I'm intending to go with Annie to Glastonbury on the 11th of September, and there's quite a lot about Joseph of Arimathea in Avalon, and also down in Cornwall as well. So he's supposed to have brought the boy Jesus to England, and it's all about the lost tribes of Israel and goodness knows what else. But yeah, fantastic, you know, that there is the wisdom that can be found. I think wisdom is wisdom, isn't it? So even if he never read the Tao Te Ching, of course he's going to come out with similar things in his own teaching, Jesus, because the wisdom is the wisdom, isn't it?
You have a marvelous time in Glastonbury. It's one of my favorite places. I might actually be there.
Excellent. That'd be even better still, Jack.
So we could meet up. I'm not sure. I go on the 2nd, I think, 1st or the 2nd.
Right.
and I'll be there for about a week or 7 or 8 days.
Brilliant. That'd be
So
great
that-
if you were happened to be there at the same time. Because, you know, I could go by myself, and I was intending to go by myself, but I thought if I could have a guide, it'd be much more magical that way. It'll be magic anyway. I know it's going to be magic anyway, but if I had a guide, I was going to go at the beginning of June. But when I looked at the weather forecast, it was going to be throwing it down with rain. I thought, if I get to the if I get to the top of the tour and I can't see anything, I'll be most disappointed. So I might still have that disappointment, but at least I'll have a guide or maybe two with me.
I've been up there in the best of weathers, and I've been up there in the worst of weathers. It's always magical.
Yeah, I can imagine you can be above the clouds there, can't you? So you just see, you can just see the clouds and nothing else, and that'll be magical.
You look down on the clouds and you can imagine the mists of Avalon when it was all flooded before it was drained by the monks in the Middle Ages. And you can just imagine what it would have looked like then. Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous place.
Yeah, I've driven through it, but I've never stopped. We were on the way home from the southwest. I think we'd been to Tenby, not Tenby, Orgasmic, Newquay or somewhere like that. I thought I'd love to stop here, but I want to get a bit further home before I stop. So yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to that, and having Glastonbury leave its magic footprint in my soul.
Right, on that note, thank you very much, Chrissy, for giving us that wonderful talk about microgreens. Thank you, Andrew, for sharing your book, your poems from your book. And now you've got your book handy.
All you need is love until you need
love is all you need.
Until you need the Dowdy Ching book.
You got my book handy there. You can show that as well.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm away from home at the moment.
He's not got his book with him. He doesn't need to read it. He wrote it. This is Jack Cox. Love Not Fear. Get your copy. It's thicker than mine, and not the Jack's thicker. I didn't say that. The book's thicker. You know, I can put these side by side now, can't I? There's my book, and look how much more value you get when you get the book from Jack.
Andrew, sizes and everything, so I'm told.
Oh, mine's even smaller than yours, Andrew.
Right. You're on with yours though, aren't you, Chrissy? You're creating it now.
Oh, I just need to write it down.
Right,
it's all in my head.
If you're watching this on YouTube, please do like, share and subscribe. Next week, any day we'll be back, but not quite sure what we're going to be talking about yet. And huge gratitude to Chrissy for standing in these 2 weeks whilst Annie's been away. And hopefully we can do more shows together sooner or later. No, sooner rather than later.
She's got an understudy now as Annie, so we're not worried if she decides to do something which she needs to do. I'm going to say more interesting, but it won't be more interesting than the Jack Cox show. Can it be? No, I doubt it very much. But we've got Chrissy now who can come and tell us about different things that Annie doesn't know anything about, and she can watch the show afterwards and I never knew that.
Well, maybe I can leave it to Chrissy and Annie and I could have the pub.
Well, it wouldn't be the Jack Cox show though, then, will it? That's the only problem. You've got to be here, Jack. That's the trouble with this. You put your name on it. You branded it with you. You should have branded it with something else. No, you can't go down the pub. Sorry.
Okay. On that note, see you all again next week.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.